So today I'm going to be reviewing the Lenovo Idea Tab, and this is a budget tablet from Lenovo, and you might be wondering if it is worth buying, and you might wonder how it compares to other tablets out there. Well, I'm going to let you know all of my thoughts in this full review. So with all that being said, let's get right into it and let's talk about the Lenovo Idea Tab. So I know Lenovo, they have a lot of budget tablets out there. They have the Idea Tab Plus, the Idea Tab Pro, and you might be wondering how this regular Idea Tab, you might be wondering how it stacks up against all of those other Lenovo devices. Well, I have to say, this is a basic budget tablet. It's often a tablet that you could find around 150 bucks, maybe you'll find it for 200 bucks, but either way, this is going to be a cheaper tablet that is going to be appealing to those people just wanting the basics. Now that's going to mean some compromises that I'm not a fan of, because this does have 4 gigabytes of RAM in the base model. And in my opinion, that is not enough RAM for a lot of stuff in 2026. It's really just not. I know it's going to be okay for some very basic stuff. If you're wanting to open up YouTube, if you're wanting to open up some social media, if you just open up your one thing and you do your one thing, I'm sure 4 gigabytes of RAM won't be a big deal. But if you are getting out of one app and you're opening up 2 or 3 or 4 different apps, that's where you're going to get bottlenecked a little by the 4 gigabytes of RAM. Now there is an 8 gigabyte of RAM model, and that is really nice for people who care about that. But at that point, you have to keep in mind that there is also the Lenovo Idea Tab Plus, and that tablet has some other improvements like a better processor, and it does have 8 gigabytes of RAM in the base model. So I will just say you have to be very careful to do your research and find the right tablet for you. It really does depend on the sales, it depends on how much RAM you need, and it depends on what you're seeing out there as far as sales on the higher end devices, or even those middle ground devices like the Idea Tab Plus. You might find a great sale on the Idea Tab Plus, and if it's only $50 more, I would jump on that over this regular Idea Tab. But if you find the Idea Tab really cheap, this is going to be a good tablet for the basics that I would still recommend in some situations. It's a 2560 by 1600 resolution, so it's going to be a nicer resolution than Samsung's Galaxy Tab A11 Plus, and that tablet does retail for $250. But this tablet here, not only can you often find it cheaper, but getting a nicer screen, that is going to be a big deal for some people. It is a 90 Hz refresh rate as well, and this also has a MediaTek Dimensity 6300 processor. I think that's going to be more than enough power in the processor for a lot of people. Again, keep your expectations in check. This is a budget tablet, but I'm really happy to see really good processors coming to these budget lines of tablets. It means we don't have to worry about super slow tablets all of the time. Instead, we could actually have decent performance, assuming you're not opening up too many apps. Because yeah, that 4 gigabytes of RAM, it can be a bottleneck, but I will say, you could always once again get the 8 gigabyte of RAM variant, and you might want to do that if you look at the design of this tablet. Because this tablet, I just have to say it, it has one thing that a lot of other tablets do not have. It has a headphone jack. A lot of you don't care about that in 2026, you'll just get a pair of Bluetooth headphones, but for those of you who really do care, that's going to be a big deal to a lot of you. And I know if you're looking around and you see the Idea Tab Plus or the Idea Tab Pro, those devices might be tempting, but if you're someone that wants a headphone jack, you might just want to get this and maybe get the upgraded model, and then you'll be able to get more RAM and that headphone jack. So just keep that in mind, okay? That is going to be a rare feature that you don't get in a lot of places. You also get 2 speakers on each side of the tablet, and the speakers are good, not perfect, but pretty good for a budget tablet. And one other thing that is very unique with this tablet that makes it even better than Samsung's budget tablet, it does actually have the ability to connect a keyboard. So Lenovo did actually make a keyboard for this tablet, and I did actually purchase it myself to test it out. It reminds me of the slim keyboard cover that Samsung did release for a lot of their tablets, and it's actually pretty decent. Yeah, It does feel a little bit cheaper on the keys and stuff like that, but it is a budget tablet and a budget keyboard, but you can typically find one of those if you want to purchase it separately. Normally it won't come with the tablet, but it's nice that it's an option, and it's nice that you get a case that can, of course, connect to it with the keyboard, so it does give you a little bit of extra protection. And it's not perfect, but I do enjoy the typing experience. The travel has been decent on the keyboard, and yeah, it's pretty cool that it actually can connect to a keyboard. Overall, though, if you take the tablet out of the keyboard, you're going to find that it is going to have a very nice build quality, which is really good. It does actually feel fairly premium whenever I'm using it. Of course, it's still going to be a budget tablet, so there will be some budget materials, but it does feel pretty nice for a budget tablet in my opinion. Now, you will find a micro SD card slot on this tablet as well, so that is another cool thing about the design. Overall, I really do like the tablet and the design of it. Remember, this tablet is around 11 inches in size. The other Lenovo tablets, a lot of them tend to be a little bit bigger. You're going to jump up to around 12 inches or larger if you do get some of those other models. But if you are a fan of smaller Lenovo tablets, that is going to be another reason to pick one of these up, because it is a little bit smaller at 11 inches. Now, I would say the screen is going to be one of the big highlights here. And when I say highlights, I just have to say it's not going to be as good as a lot of mid-range tablets. But for a budget tablet, I think it's pretty good. I do think it's better than Samsung's A11 Plus screen, and you're going to really enjoy it whenever you are watching a lot of entertainment. Whether you're watching YouTube or Netflix or whatever you like to watch on your tablet, it is going to look very, very good. So I do enjoy the screen here. Again, about a 2.5K resolution, and with brightness levels, it's going to be around 500 nits of brightness. So it's not going to be super bright. That is going to be one of the negatives, and it really is one of the negatives of a lot of budget tablets, but it's going to be more than bright enough for indoor use, and it's going to be okay whenever you are bringing it out and about. Just don't expect it to work great in very bright outdoor sunlight or something, but very good as far as the display quality. Once again, though, you have to check your expectations. Remember, this is a budget tablet. If you have a flagship phone, you're scrolling around on an AMOLED screen that's on a really, really small device, of course that's going to look a lot nicer than a larger tablet display on a budget tablet. But I will say, it still looks pretty good if your expectations are in check. Now, once again, whenever you look at the performance, it's going to do very well, and I do think the processor does very well, and I am impressed with how Lenovo keeps upping the processors over the years. So we are getting better and better processors in these budget tablets, and that's super impressive. But I have to talk once again about the bottleneck. The bottleneck here is going to be with the RAM. And it's going to be okay if you are someone out there who is just doing a basic thing every once in a while. Maybe you just open up YouTube and all you want to do is watch a YouTube video and that's it. Or maybe you open up social media. It's going to lag a little bit, but you'll be able to open up your social media and do whatever you're going to do. The problem is when there's too much going on in the background at once. So if you have Google, for example, and let's say they're updating some apps in the background, sometimes those processes happen in the background, they use that memory, and whenever that memory is being used, you can't have multiple apps open at the same time. This device is going to get a little bit slower in those situations. So that's not so bad if you're just someone who's just using your device for one or two things, and that's not so bad if you have low expectations. You might just want a good budget tablet with a nice screen. You want to be able to do some basics without much of a worry. This tablet is going to be great for that. But in 2026, I do typically recommend trying to get at least 6 gigabytes of RAM in your device. So that means if you are someone that's just buying this for the basics, this device will work well for that. But if you're someone that wants to push your device even a little bit more, if you want to open a few apps at a time, if you don't want to have to worry about hiccups or lag, I would recommend going up to the model that has more RAM and typically more storage. But that's where you have to again look at those sale prices, because the Idea Tab Plus from Lenovo with 8 gigabytes of RAM, it might go on sale. Or the Samsung Galaxy Tab A11 Plus. I do think the A11 Plus from Samsung is a better all-around device, but it does retail at $250. So that might be a little bit too much for some people, and you might see this Lenovo Idea Tab on sale. So it really depends on the sales that you're seeing. But by the time you upgrade the storage or upgrade the RAM, whenever you do that, a lot of you might be around the same price as the A11 Plus or the Idea Tab Plus. And the Idea Tab Plus, it has a little bit of a larger screen. Maybe you want that. It has a little bit of a better processor. This is again a MediaTek processor, a Dimensity 6300, but you could get a 6400. So it really depends on all of the sales that you're seeing. If you see the Idea Tab at a very dirt cheap price and you want to pick it up, I'm saying it could be a good option for you, especially if you want the basics. And maybe you see the upgraded version with more RAM and you see it on sale. Again, that could be a great option because you might be someone that cares about a headphone jack or an SD card slot, or maybe you want a better screen. And this does have a better screen, in my opinion, than the A11 Plus from Samsung. So there are reasons to pick up this tablet. There are reasons to recommend it, and I'm not just going to throw it out because there's one thing that I don't like about it. That makes a lot of reviewers out there super dumb and biased because a lot of them seem to just give bad reviews over one thing they don't like. But this device can be good for a group of people that either want the basics, or it's very good for a group of people that find it for the right price, because you might find the upgraded model on sale, or you might care about those other things that really draw you to this tablet, whether it's the screen, the resolution of it, maybe it's the headphone jack or the SD card slot. There are a lot of things that make this device appealing. Now the A11 Plus technically has an SD card slot and a headphone jack, so that's something to keep in mind. And the A11 Plus from Samsung even has 7 years of operating system updates. Lenovo, they're not quite as good with their software updates, so for this tablet, you can expect a little bit less there. They're talking about up to 4 years of updates. So I have to say, I know Lenovo isn't quite as good with their software updates, and it looks like you'll get security updates until 2029. So the update situation, it's not terrible, and if you are looking to keep this device for 2, 3, 4 years, it's going to be more than good enough. You're not going to have to worry about apps not working or anything like that. But I will say Samsung is a little bit better nowadays with their software support, at least with their more recent A11 Plus. Now the battery life, it's pretty average, a little over 7,000 milliamps. It's going to be par for the course for a lot of tablets. It's going to get you around 5, 6, 7 hours of screen on time, but it always depends on what you're doing on it. But overall, I've had a good experience with this tablet. It has been enjoyable. It's been enjoyable for entertainment. It's been enjoyable for some very basic, light gaming. Not intense gaming, not gaming like Genshin Impact level, but very basic gaming. It's going to do fine. So for those people out there looking for a budget device, you have to know this is going to be good for the basics. And I think of people like my dad, or I think of people like my mom. My dad, he could have a very terrible device that's super slow, sit there for like 30 seconds, and he doesn't even flinch. He's like, oh, this is plenty fast enough for me. He could use dial-up internet and say, yeah, this internet seems to be okay, and he's not going to have a problem. And nowadays, with people using devices like the S25 Ultra, using a Snapdragon 8 Elite, we get so caught up in our heads with performance and speed and more speed, and we forget that not everyone needs that. There are people that just want good devices for the basics. And this device, it's not going to take an hour to load anything. It's not going to be like dial-up. It will be good for the basics. So if you are looking for a budget device and you're looking for a good budget tablet, this is it. Just make sure to price shop, make sure to compare to other devices, and look at the spec differences, because this is very close to a lot of Lenovo's better tablets, and if you find them close in price, it might be worth getting one of those. But if you care about this or some of the features, it's also a good recommendation, especially the upgraded model. Hopefully this has helped you out. I really hope it did. If it did, please give me a like on this video and give me a sub. That would mean a ton to my channel. I talk a lot about Android tablets on my channel, especially budget tablets. I'm very conscious of price and caring about consumers. If you really care about this device and you want to check it out, if you want to look for sales, check out the links in the description. That's a great way also to support my channel through the affiliate links there. And also, hey, check out other videos because I talk a lot about Android stuff there. I hope you have a great day, and if life is hard for you, I get it. So I just want to say, no matter what you're going through in life, I really hope you have a great day, and I really hope you enjoy your week.